Hi, this is Greg from Greg's Bass Shed. In this lesson we're going to look at a jazz turnaround. So in my last lesson we looked at how to start playing jazz on the bass, and I briefly mentioned turnarounds, so you might want to have a look at that lesson. But I'll start again with turnarounds here and explain it from the basics. So I'll give you a jazz turnaround and then I'll show you some substitution chords we can put in to make it more interesting. Now I've drawn up a PDF to go with this lesson. I've written down all the musical examples and you can get tab as well. So look in the description box below and you'll see a link there to get these PDFs. You can also check out gregsbassshed.com where I've got more videos on there and more information about my bass beginner guide and some other free resources. And you can also sign up to my mailing list there. A turnaround is usually found in the last two measures or the last two bars of a jazz chorus. A jazz chorus is just the name given to a song progression or a song form. And the purpose of the turnaround really is to get you back to chord 1 at the start of the next chorus. So the standard jazz turnaround is chord 1, 6, 2, 5 and then back to 1. So 1, 6, 2, 5. And we can get these chords from the scale. So in this video we're going to do all our examples in F. So if we look at an F major scale, we can pick the chords from that scale. So chord 1 is F, chord 2 is G, chord 5 is C, chord 6 is D. So we have our 4 chords that we need there. So in the key of F, a 1, 6, 2, 5, 1 turnaround is F, D, G, C and back to F. And is actually, if we put this, use the 7 chords, is F7, D7, G minor 7, C7, back to F7. So F, D, G, C, F. So F7, D7, G minor 7, C7, F7. Now, as we learned in the last lesson, we can connect these root notes with chromatic notes. And chromatic notes are just notes that aren't usually found in the scale. So we can use chromatic notes below or above the root note. So if I play you one example now using chromatic notes above the root notes. And in the next example, I'll use chromatic notes above the root notes. And as I said before, all these examples are in F, and you can get the PDF to see all these examples written down, and you can also get the tab as well. Now I'll play you the turnaround in F using chromatic notes above and below, so I'll sort of mix them up. Now that's the basic jazz turnaround, and we can substitute some chords in to this turnaround to make it more interesting. It provides more interest for the soloist and the bass player. So there are lots of substitution chords that we can use, and the substitution chords are related to the chord that they're replacing. For example, if we look at the F7, first chord of the turnaround, we can use an A minor 7 instead, and that's the 3rd note. So 3rd note of the scale. So F7 becomes A minor and the whole sequence becomes A7, D7, G minor 7, C7. So I'll play you a turnaround now with chord 1 substituted with chord 3. Another substitution we can use is a tritone substitution. Now you might have heard of the tritone. It's quite common in jazz and in other styles of music, and it's sometimes called the devil's interval because it sounds a bit dissonant, it sort of clashes a bit. And the tritone is basically an augmented 4th or a diminished 5th. And all that means is, so in the key of F, the 4th is B flat, an augmented 4th, you just go up a step or up a semitone. So that's the B, or you can look at it as going down diminished from the 5th, which is the C, which is again going down is the B. C flat, which is the same name for B. So for F, That's the tritone. And that works for every chord. You just see that pattern there. So in D, in A, in C. For this next turnaround, we're going to use a tritone substitution, and we're going to use it in place of the C7. We're going to use a G flat 7. So have a listen to that. Now we can use this tritone substitution for the D7 as well. So the D7 will become A flat 7. So if I play you a sequence now using all those substitutions, so I'll use the chord 3 instead of chord 1, and I'll use the 2 tritone substitutions. So with all these substitutions, if you look at the PDF, you can see there's a real downward movement here. We've got A flat, G, G flat, F. So it gives it some real forward motion. So really that's just scratching the surface of some substitutions you can put in. Now you can put them in wherever you want really, there aren't really any rules. And as it comes for whole chord progressions in jazz, you can substitute chords all over the place. So someone's version of a normal jazz standard, which is say a popular jazz song, someone else might use some completely different substitutions, and they can kind of, for the solos you can do it on the spot, and the different players will be listening to each other. The soloists will be listening to the bass player or the keyboard player, the piano player, and they'll be kind of listening to what substitutions everyone's using. So have a practice of all those musical examples, make sure you get the PDF to play through them, and also you can try them in different keys. Now what I'll do now is I'll leave a turnaround in F running, just a backing track, so you can try your own turnarounds over that. Well, I hope you enjoyed the lesson and found it useful. If you did, please like and share it. This really helps me out, and also comment below and let me know if you enjoyed it, and I'll plan some more jazz lessons. If you let me know any other areas you'd like to do, I'll do some lessons on them. So remember to look at the website, gregsbassshed.com, or you can catch me on Instagram and Facebook. All the links are in the description, and the link to the PDF is there as well. Well, have a good week, and I'll see you next Friday. This is Greg from Greg's Bass Shed.